since the announcement and the start of Dragonflight, we've heard about Murozond, that you all remember all the way back from Cataclysm, but he was never really that big of a deal. It was just a side thing. There was a supposed leak that Murozond will indeed be the final boss, and a bunch of hints, but now we have an actual questline involving Nosdormu and the mentions of Murozond, who is going to play an important role in the new expansion. So, who even is Murozond, what will be happening with him, and what are these new hints and questlines that are happening in the Dragonflight Alpha? Murozond is a bit of an obscure character, as he was sort of a side boss back in Cataclysm, but actually he may just be an incredibly important villain in the future, if not the most important one, and he has been heavily foreshadowed that he will play a big role in Dragonflight, in particular not really Nosdormu, but Murozond. Now, if you don't know, Murozond is literally the anagram of his real name, Nosdormu, and he is a future corrupted version of himself, the Bronze Dragon aspect. Now, despite the lore of Warcraft being vague in many regards, time travel lore is possibly at the top of this list, as it is as vague as it gets, but here is the most simple explanation. As you know, Nosdormu was empowered by the Titans as a part of the Bronze Dragonflight, and he was put in charge of guarding time, and he was given incredible knowledge of what happened and what is to happen in the future, so he really knew everything. Now, this, while it was a gift, ended up as a bit of a curse, as he realized that at some point in the future, he is going to turn into Murozond and he is going to do bad things. We have seen him at the End Time instance back in Cataclysm, and this was essentially this dark dystopian future where he was corrupted and twisted by the old gods, created the Infinite Dragonflight, and just goes forth to bring the so-called Hour of Twilight. Now, you may be thinking, didn't we already defeat him back in Cataclysm, so he's not really a threat? And yes, you're right, we did, but as I said, time travel is confusing as it is with all these endless timelines, and Blizzard can just twist this lore as much as they wish, as there are really not that many boundaries. However, what is a really interesting bit is this End Time dungeon is where Nosdormu made his lair, and his justification was that the potential future that we had seen back in Cataclysm, in his eyes, was actually one of the lesser evils, as he believes that even the Hour of Twilight, as bad as it is, would be a much better future than the true end of time that he had personally witnessed. Now, back then, this didn't really mean all that much, but seeing that we are now over with the Shadowlands and that the jailer left us with this big what is to come and what he was preparing to unite the universe for, I think you can connect the dots and hear the big storyline could happen. As most of us are pissed off that Blizzard left us with a cliffhanger for 2 expansions, it is almost certain that they will finally unfold this storyline in Dragonflight. However, it seems like this will happen by the end, as they're really not giving us any direct hints right now, but there are many hints for this: the return of Murozond, the involvement of the Titans, the likelihood of Azeroth's soul awakening, which evoked the Dragon Isles most likely, and just a bunch of other things. Back before Dragonflight was announced, there was a really big leak that essentially hit everything right except for the pre-order bonus, but he guessed the expansion name Dragonflight, the Draktyr Evokers, and a bunch of other things, and he also hinted that Murozond will be the final boss of the expansion. Then, after the expansion was announced, Blizzard kind of foreshadowed this in multiple interviews, talking about that there will be a big bad in Dragonflight. We just don't know anything about it at the start. Blizzard even mentioned Nosdormu and stated that he knows this Murozond future is coming and it may be closer than ever, and he's struggling with this vision. Now, this brings us to the newest bit of information that we have data mined in the actual alpha. So, there is a side quest in Dragonflight Alpha called the Echo of Duty, and a member of the Bronze Dragonflight asks us to investigate a strange shrine, and when we reach it, we see the reference to Amantol, the leader of the Titan Pantheon, and there is an inscription inside the shrine that says, "Hushed whispers reverberate in your mind as you hold this swirling sphere. You can make but one word, Nosdormu." This makes total sense, as it was Amantol's power that was granted to Nosdormu that turned him into a dragon aspect and pretty much gave him all the abilities that he has. Then we bring this sphere that we found to Nosdormu, and that really hits him emotionally, as he explains how through the Titans he gained the knowledge of all things that happen and that will happen, including his own death, and that this sphere is an echo of knowledge. He apparently hid this feat across multiple timelines as a reminder to himself of the future that is to come, although why he needs this reminder we don't really know at this point. And he seems kinda bothered by it and references his own fate of transforming into Murozond, where he is convinced by the old gods to prevent his demise, so he breaks his oath and creates the Infinite Dragonflight, the complete opposite of the Bronze Dragonflight, where the Bronze is there to guard the timelines, the Infinite Dragonflight just wants to shatter them. He says in his own words, "When I was granted a portion of Aman'Thul's power, many great secrets were revealed to me. I capture this knowledge within this relic, an echo of what is, what has been, and what must always be. I hid it away in a corner of every timeline so that I would always remember those words, even after I..." Then Dosdormo falls silent. After another moment, he clasps the sphere more tightly and just turns away. Now, this is an obvious hint that he is a bit excited to see it and that he gets the grim reminder of what is to come in the dark future that awaits, which might even indicate that he's actually questioning his own duty as a dragon aspect. Now, to me, I don't know about you, but to me this seems like clear evidence that they're starting to foreshadow Murozond's return in Dragonfight and him possibly being the final boss. However, my opinion is that he won't actually be the final boss of the expansion. I'm almost certain that he's going to be involved with the final boss and the final battle, but it just won't be simply him. I see him maybe realizing this what is to come, that no one has the ability to see it in himself, that continues on from the jailer's last lines. Then he may bring something like the end time instance, but like literally, but it's not just a side thing, it's like the main thing. Through this end time, we may be able to travel in time to fight maybe Galakrond. If you have noticed throughout the entire Infinite Dragon storyline is that they're trying to undo events that happened long ago in order for this terrible reality to not happen. Well, throughout the alpha, it is obvious that we're battling the Primalists, these users of elemental magic, and many things are hinting at this old legacy of the Proto-Dragons and the monster Galakrond. Maybe Nozdormu realizes that despite the noble intentions of the Titans and the empowering of the dragon aspects, it may have been a better reality for Galakrond to stay, and he brings him back to alternate reality in order to just undo the universe, to kinda redo the events that happened. It could also be a time travel thing like with Bronxgar in the War of the Ancients, but I see this more as timelines actually crashing and just pouring into the main universe and us actually facing off the biggest evil that ever lived on Azeroth. This could then lead to Voidor stuff, old gods, and most importantly, it would continue the cliffhanger from the Shadowlands. Unfortunately though, we can only speculate at the moment, but with the leaks, the various interviews, and these questlines, there is no doubt that Murozond is going to play a really big role in Dragonfight. We just don't know the extent of what it will be, but I doubt they're foreshadowing this for no reason, and it makes sense that some sort of time travel will be happening, as right now there doesn't seem to be any sort of big bad that we see on the Dragon Isles, and we know in an interview that Blizzard confirmed that there will be a big bad villain at the end of this expansion. Thank you for watching. Check out Malfurion's fate by clicking on the screen, and check out Doran's Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.